Good evening, everybody. This is the All Metal Mode podcast, and you're listening to Mike Care. Of course, Mr. Dorian Cook, if you've seen the advert on the show and stuff, or I'm sorry, on Facebook, he is out sick. Poor Dorian's not feeling good. It's, from what I understand, it's an allergy thing, but he's in bad shape. He's not feeling good, and, let's all wish him well, but I'm really excited to have Dennis Wynne fill in tonight and looking forward to it. Dennis, we had on the show last week. Dennis, was it last week? I believe.
Yes, it was.
We had Dennis on the show. Dennis, Dennis, man, what a neat guy. I'll tell you what, I wrote an article, just wrapped up an article today for Dirt Digest magazine, talking about the people we meet in this hobby and stuff. And I'll tell you what, Dennis is just a fantastic guy. And last week, Gypsy Jules came up from southern Texas, and I'll tell you, Dennis, hunting with you two was one of the best days I've had in a long time. And Dennis took us to a really neat historical site, tons of history, just a really, really neat time, and I had a lot of fun. Tonight, really happy. Dorian had somebody coming on, and we had a guest tonight, and since Dorian couldn't make it, we canceled it, put him off till probably next week, hopefully. And I thought, boy, I'd sure like to get a guest for Dennis and I, and the Lesches have been on my mind a lot lately. I keep meaning to call them and reach out to them, and life gets busy. It does. It gets busy, and I thought, boy, I'd sure like to. Let me call him up and see. And I'm gonna squeal. I'm gonna tell you something here, guys. So I called up and I talked to Pam. Pam usually answers the phone, and who I actually talk to most of the time when I call. And I called up and Pam. Any of you that have ever called Predator Tools and you get Pam, she's just a sweetheart. I just think the world of both of them. But Pam's, she's not old enough to be my mom, but I want to give her a hug. You know what I mean, Dennis? Does that make sense? She's just a sweetheart.
Absolutely.
I love her to death. And she's just one of the sweetest women you could ever talk to in your life. But I got to tell you something really funny that happened today. I'm squealing on her. I'm squealing. She said, hey, Mike's calling. Can you do the show tonight? And George, for those of you who don't know, George works full time, comes home, he's working on shovels. He's a busy, hard-working guy. And I heard him kind of say something about he was tired. And she said, well, you can take a nap. You're doing the show tonight. And it took all I had not to laugh. So we've got George on tonight because Pam she pretty much told him he was doing it. But I love them both. I'm so excited to have them on. It's been too long since we had them on. How are you guys doing tonight?
Very good, thank you.
Hanging in there.
I squealed on you, Pam. I almost lost it when I heard that. Yeah, she in the background. You're doing it is pretty much how that went. So you can tell who
she's the boss.
Yeah, I was about to say, Dennis, I learned real quick who the boss was.
She just tells me what she needs, and that's it.
Yeah, right.
I make sure he gets a little rust here and there.
I tell Steph, I said, sometimes you work me like a rented mule. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sometimes you got to be like that. So how you guys been?
Very busy.
Very busy, actually.
Hey, thank you for taking time. Thank you.
To be honest with you, I thought it would slow down through the crisis.
It's not.
But people still digging.
Good.
Yeah, well, at least you can go out in your backyard and dig. You know, you can play with your kids, play with your dogs. I have to tell you a little funny story real quick. We have a German Shepherd puppy, 11 months old, and she likes to dig holes. Never had a dog dig holes like she does. Well, she actually finds a metal in the ground.
Huh.
And the other day she brought me a piece of metal. She ran in the house with it. She dug up a perfectly good horseshoe.
Oh, my goodness. No kidding.
So she's my metal detecting puppy. And she doesn't even need a metal detector.
Right.
She just uses her nose and she starts digging and finds the metal in the ground.
That or helps bring firewood in.
Oh, wow, that is awesome.
She'll grab a piece of wood and bring it on in. Then she gets upset when you throw it in the fire right away.
Oh, my goodness, that's funny. That is so funny. How old is she?
11 months old. She's biting my foot right now.
That tail's nonstop wagging.
Oh, that's funny. You guys are big into the German Shepherds, aren't you?
Love German Shepherds. Love them.
Yeah, they're good dogs.
Highly intelligent. They're great with kids. They're great with my grandkids. They're good with people. They're just, and they're very protective, too.
Yeah.
So if you live out in the country, not a bad idea to have a German Shepherd.
Right.
She agrees.
That's too funny.
She's very vocal, too.
I can hear that's too funny.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you guys have?
I have 2 Shepherds.
Do you?
I have a 7-year-old, 100-pound. 105-pound female Shepherd.
Whoa.
And then the puppy, I think she's about 80 pounds right now.
Wow.
She's going to be a big girl, too.
Yeah,
she used to sleep on the bed, but now she don't want to sleep on the bed no more. Don't know why.
Probably no space for her.
Oh, that's funny. That is too funny. Wow. When did you? So how did you guys get her as puppy? Then I'm guessing, or when she was ready?
We bought her as a puppy.
Yeah.
She was like 3 months old. We bought her in August of last year, and she was.
Well, what do you call it? Pam wanted to do one of these rescue dogs. When the people come here, I'm thinking they're going to bring the dog with them. They didn't bring the dog with them. They wanted to inspect our house. They wanted to inspect the whole entire property, every building they wanted to look through. This is a total stranger coming to your property.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell is this? And then what do you call it? They said, well, then she stops with, well, we'll get back to you and let you know if you qualify or not. You got to be kidding me. We're out in the country. I mean, this is a heaven for dogs.
But then what happened was the dog didn't get along with other dogs.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I didn't want to take the chance with my Rose. That's my 7-year-old,
Yeah.
So I don't want a dog fight or anything. So my husband's like, in the car, we're taking a ride this weekend. And we took Rose with us. And actually the puppy picked us. There was like, how many puppies, George? 8. And she was the one that stayed with us.
Aww.
All the other ones took off.
All the other ones ran off.
Aww.
Yeah.
It took about a week to get the fleas off of her.
Because she was raised in the barn.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I just lost one of my dogs about a month ago. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry.
I'll tell you, he was 10. I've had him since they were born. A mix. I've still got his brother, but it was tough. He got sick, and up until he got sick, he was perfectly fine. I mean, he was just perfect. And he got sick, and within a couple of days, found out he had cancer. And the day I verified that, which was like 4 days after he got sick, I had to carry him down the stairs and stuff. I mean, he was bad. And I had to, I've had dogs for a long time. For the first time, I had to make that decision to put one down, and that was really hard to do.
That's tough. I know. We had a similar situation. We had a shepherd she was actually 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
Blind, deaf, and then it got to the point she couldn't walk no more.
She couldn't walk anymore.
Yeah.
And she was in just so much pain.
Yeah, you get to the point where it's you don't want him to suffer. And he was, that last day, and what just amazed me is he had liver cancer. And there were no signs of it. And one day he vomited, and within 4 days I'm putting him down. But that, even earlier that he vomited that evening. Earlier that day he was running around playing. I was throwing the ball for him. It was just, I mean, I guess if there's a way to go, it came quick, and but it's been really hard. Matter of fact, I got one of the paw prints done. And my little girl seen it last night, and she started crying and stuff. And it's tough, when you lose a family member like that.
Yeah, they're a part of your family.
Absolutely. I know. I got this one right now chewing on my feet. I ain't got on all my socks, and she got some sharp teeth.
That's funny.
It's because we're not paying attention to her. We're on the phone.
Right.
They're just like children, same thing.
Yeah.
You might hear some profanity in a minute.
It's okay. It's all right. So,
but she can play 24/7.
Yeah, they're at that age, right? I don't miss the puppy stage, but I've still got Charlie, the brother, and he's 10 years old, but he still gets around good, and he's always been part of a pack. I'm really debating on whether we're going to get another dog for him, a buddy. I just don't know what to do. Right now, he's getting a ton of more attention, because now my attention isn't split between two of them, so he gets all the attention. Do I just keep him spoiled, or do I add him a brother? I don't know. As long as he's
fine with,
but something.
As long as he's fine without another dog companion, you're okay. But my Rosemary,
sad.
She was sad all the time. So when I got the puppy, she became a puppy again.
Oh.
And they play together all the time.
Oh.
But the other one was, it was the dominant one. Like she didn't want to play. Believe me, stay away from her.
But they would play outside. They played frisbee and ball and tug of war, and there was a companion there for her all the time.
Right.
So now Rosemary's busy all the time. Because she has Sky with her.
Yeah.
But they actually sit together like paw to paw. Paws on top of paws.
Oh, that's cute.
She'll actually sleep on top of her. If the big one's sleeping, the young one will come up, put her head up on her, and then put her paws across her legs and go to sleep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
they
love each other.
I'll tell you a quick story. Steph, my Charlie that's still alive, Charlie was always my dog. He was the runt. And, he was the last one to do everything. Well, that was my dog. Don't get me wrong, I love Teddy with all my heart, but Charlie chose me. I was Charlie's person. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Well, he met Steph, my wife, and almost a week, he wouldn't have anything to do with her. Matter of fact, he was scared of her. And just one day out of the blue, almost overnight, she became his person. So now, then Teddy and I became even closer. Well, now Teddy's gone, and Charlie it sometimes it makes me sad. Like she'll be at work and I'm home with the kids or whatever, and he's just kind of moping around, and Steph gets home and he's just so happy. But he's doing better and better. But it's kind of sad for me to watch my dog change who his person is, but love it. It was something I want to get out there real quick to anybody listening.
Okay.
First off, if you're not in the chat, join in the chat at the bottom. Does somebody got us playing in the background? Either one of you?
No.
No.
Not me.
No.
I keep hearing myself talking. I don't know if I'm getting an echo. I don't know if it's on the show or like if it's transferring to our listeners.
Yeah, I don't hear an echo here, so it could be your...
Maybe it's just on my end. But what I wanted to say was, any of our listeners, if you have any questions for George or Pam, Predator Tools, come into chat. As you're listening to the show, across the bottom is a little bar. If you click on that, there's a little chat bubble, little cloud. Click on that, and that'll bring you into chat. You do have to sign up. It takes a second. You can come in through your Facebook login. Literally takes seconds. Come in, and if you have any questions for the Leschies, please ask away. So let's get that out there. I think I already passed a couple questions, but I was busy talking. Let me go.
That's part of the job.
Someone asked, anyone with the Raptor, the curious shape has me thinking. You guys mind to touch on the Raptor real quick?
Actually, Raptor, that was a collaborate, probably one of mine and Pam's first collaborations. That came out in 2003, and it's actually a very, very popular. It's one of our most popular hand diggers.
Yeah. Okay, I was trying to think which one the Raptor was, but yeah.
Yeah, it's orange and has the black handle.
Yeah, that thing is so cool.
And it has a little bit, wider blades, so...
You can move a lot of dirt with a little shovel with that.
It's like a multi-purpose tool. I even use it in the garden.
Right.
When I go field hunting, I'll just bring one of those with me because I know I can get up whatever I need in a hurry. Our ground here is not really that hard, like you would have down there.
Yeah.
But, to put that in the ground and pull over a nice sized plug, not a problem.
In the summer, the ground here can get kind of hard.
That's when you use Model 85.
What's the purpose of the curvature of the blade on it? Does that assist getting plugs out or anything?
Absolutely. You can just stick that right in the ground, just roll it right out. And if you've seen how much dirt that you can move with the Raptor, it's unbelievable how much dirt will actually pile up on that blade with that slight disc shape. The whole entire blade is disc shaped from front to back, left to right. It's almost like digging with a shell. You can move a lot of dirt with it. Plus
Yeah.
And you have a nice leverage with the handle on it. It has a nice comfort grip handle on it. The handle, I believe, is 6 inches long and very, very nice tool.
And it has like a comfort grip on it. And then it has a sheath that you can put on your belt and carry it that way if you'd like.
Even like with all the Model 85s, what we did, like we had a special grip which was a lot more expensive that we used for the military Model 85s that we produce. And we ended up deciding we're going to put all those grips on all of our digging tools. And that's what we did. We still have them in orange or we have them in black, but we have them with a nice comfort grip on them now. Instead of having like the vinyl type grip.
Like a bicycle grip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody seems to prefer the comfort grip.
I want to say something that, gosh, this I don't know. When I first seen that digger, which one are we talking about? I'm sorry, the Raptor.
The Raptor?
Raptor.
Yeah, I didn't like the look of that. I thought, what? It looks like you wouldn't be able to get the leverage and stuff, but man, that thing works so good. Everybody loves that. Anybody that I've talked to, especially if you don't need to cut, if you're not in that rock hard soil, they prefer that even over your famous 75.
Well, hut digging, I consider it a must for whenever I would go digging huts where you don't want to damage any of the relics. You can get a nice proportionate scoop of dirt out without hitting your relics, especially if you're bottle hunting.
This is a good. I can actually answer this one, but I'll leave it up to you guys. Somebody said, "How did you guys pick what steel to use? Was it cost or best properties?"
Best properties.
By far.
Let me tell you. All right, all right, I've been doing this since 1975 when and what do you call? We use the finest American-made steel you can get. I ran tests. All right, like when we buy the steel, it's like buying a pedigreed dog. You know exactly what goes in there. There's no scrap iron, any of that stuff. All right, some of these knockoff copies of our tools weigh 25% more. We've taken them and tested them in our shop. I've had dealers standing right there watching to make sure everything was done fairly. And breaking theirs, and ours still held up, and it weighs 25% less than theirs. But I'm not going to go into no names or anything like this. But what do you call when you get into Chinese steel? I did tests on it, and it had the same certifications as American steel. It's supposed to be the same exact properties and everything in it, and they ended up breaking. You get what you pay for.
Right.
And I pay double for American steel than what I would for Chinese steel. I make sure everything's American made because the steel that you get from there, you're getting what you pay for. And that's the truth.
Yes.
You got to remember, they're shipping this steel all the way from around the world over here, and at half the price of what American steel is. Mm-hmm. Somebody's taking a shortcut somewhere. Like some of the tools. We've had the chance many times where Chinese companies come to us and said, "Hey, look, we'll build the tools for you, and you just sell them." You know, we're just like a figurehead. Mm-hmm. We never went down that road, but other people have copied our tools, took them to China, had them made, and bring them over. Mm-hmm. But what a lot of people don't figure is, when you do something like that, you have this one company that buys from the Chinese. They come back, they sell it to their distributors, then they sell it to their dealers, and then their dealers sell it to the retail customer. So by the time the retail customer gets it, there's 4 people that already made money on that tool before you even had a chance to hold it in your hand.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get what you pay for with, products like that.
Absolutely. I have a close, fairly close relationship with some of the metal detector manufacturers. Mm-hmm. And this has come up in more than a few times. I had somebody, I'm not going to say any names, "Hey, let me send you one of these diggers." And, and I am blunt. I don't want it. You don't send me that junk. I only use Predator tools. Matter of fact, it pisses me off that you guys are making this stuff. It does. I hate that. I'm so tired of, I seen a post recently, somebody's shovel cracked, their Predator tool shovel. What's his name? Gosh, he's real nice guy.
Dave Weiss.
Yeah, Dave Weiss.
Yes.
And somebody said well, you should have bought this shovel. I've never had a problem out of mine. Or you should have bought this $15 shovel. And boy, it takes all I have not to just, lose my mind over that stuff.
I fully understand.
The amount of the number of people out there who don't understand what's going on in different situations like this. Is there anybody else even out there making good hand tools made in the USA with good USA certified steel? I don't think there's anybody out there doing it.
Well, put it this way. We pride ourselves in putting out the absolute finest ground-penetrating tools. That's part of the reason why the United States military uses our tools. And what do you call if some people say, "Oh, your prices are high." Our prices are justified to what we're producing. You're getting a handmade custom tool, which is second to none. These tools are the finest there is out there, and we back them up. Now like with Dave's, when I first looked at the photograph that he sent me, I'm looking at it like, damn, that's a piranha. Then when I looked at the backside, it wasn't a piranha. He had actually worn the front down because he dug so many holes with it. And I seen one of the communication people that posted on there said, "Yeah, I got video of you using it like a pogo stick." And the tool literally had to done tens of thousands of holes with it. If you've seen how much wear there was on that blade, the man does a lot of digging. There's no doubt about that. He's quite successful at what he does, too. But he knows a quality tool.
Oh, we're talking about Dave Weiss, right?
Dave, yes.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. And he knows quality tools. He wanted to buy another shovel. I told him, it's all right. I will fix this for you. It's not a problem. And I told him he had it for 4.5 years. He sent it back to me. I repaired it right away, and it was back out the next day. And what do you call it? It's no big deal fixing these if there ever is an issue, which is very, very rare, especially for a Raven. But like I said, it had a lot of wear on it.
Yeah, right.
But,
George, if I could just slip something in, I've got 3 of your shovels. And I got to tell you, I'm packing about 300 pounds, and those things have withheld or withstood everything I've ever put them under here in Texas, and that hard soil down here, they really do a great job. And I've always stood and told people they need to get your tools. I have a quick question for you about that.
Yes.
What made you get into doing shovels and diggers?
Well, I'm actually second generation. My father started off, he set the standard with the nursery industry. There's a lot of stuff out there, like the all-steel handle spades, steel rakes, a number of other things that he invented that are the standard today for what they do in nurseries. And once again, what they did to Pop, a lot of these people that we used to sell to went and had them copied in China and were selling them under their own name, which were knockoff copies of what my father was doing.
Right.
And, yeah, but there's unscrupulous people out there that do that practice. Like, even hypothetical, say you had a patent. You have to have the money to defend that patent. From time to time, what I do, I design stuff for other companies. And what I'll do, I'll end up patenting whatever I'm designing for them. And then what they do, they pay you for research and development if they buy the patent. And then once they buy the patent, then you get royalties off of it for the duration of the tool, whatever it may be. And but that doesn't always work out because what you do, you get what you call a non-disclosure agreement, and on the patent, there's 2 technical names for you can get a provisional patent and like a full-blown patent. But if you get a provisional patent, it's for 1 year only. So basically, once I design something, you have it blueprinted. Once it's blueprinted, you have to have a real nice prototype of it that's blueprinted. Then it goes to the lawyer. Then once he gets you a patent, you got 1 year from that date to sell that particular tool. And if you don't make it within a year, then you're going to spend $1,000 plus more getting another provisional patent.
And you can't even get a patent. What is it to stop China? Right? That's like several.
No,
hundreds
you're
of
wasting
thousands
your time.
of yeah, right. It's a waste of time.
Well, like I can't discuss which tools I designed because I'm under contract. That it's basically like a non-disclosure on my part. Mm-hmm. Who I'm designing stuff for. But give you a prime example. I did one called Trailer Safety Check. Me and Pam were heading to the shore and we got stuck in a traffic jam. And while we're sitting there in a traffic jam, I said, Pam, you got paper? She goes, yeah. I go, you got a pen? She goes, yeah. So I started dictating to her exactly what this component had to be. The whole entire thing, Pam's writing everything down. By the time we got to the beach, it was already laid out. Called the lawyer, said, look, this is what we're thinking about. Is it possible? He said, yes. So we went ahead and built a prototype, but I felt the prototype could have been a little bit better. And even trademarked the name Trailer Safety Check. So what we did, and I had a patent for it one time, I designed a thing that goes in between a trailer and a truck. You plug your plug that would go into your truck into Trailer Safety Check, and then that tail had a little tail that went into your truck. And if any of your lights, your brakes, your breakaway battery, or anything on that trailer went wrong, it would call your phone and tell you that you have a problem with your trailer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and well, I thought this was going to be a slam dunk. We put the money out for that, and then come to find out, the company at the last minute, they sat on it for God knows how long. And it was right to the end of it, and it was like, do you put the money out again, or do you just let it go? So I let it lapse, and it wasn't long. About a year later, one of my guys come up to me and shows me a catalog. Does this look familiar? And somebody else had already copied it. But it's the nature of people, very unscrupulous.
Yeah.
I had a really good guy I used to work with. Never met him, only by phone. We used to work in conjunction with each other. If he had a problem, he would bounce it off me, and then like if I was working on a project, he would research if it was patented, if it wasn't patented, and which way to go with it, so to speak. And he ended up inheriting a farm, and then what do you call it? I guess he was trying out a tractor and he flipped it over and got killed. The guy was phenomenal. Never met him, but I talked to him almost every single day for a number of years, and we collaborated on a number of things. He's actually like a co-sponsor on a couple of my patents.
Wow.
His name's actually on my patents. Cool guy. Never met him. And his wife was kind enough to actually call me. It wasn't even 24 hours after he passed that she called me to tell me what happened. She said, I know he really felt highly of you and thought you should know. And I've never even spoken to the lady before. I only spoke to him all the time.
I wasn't going to bring it up, George, but since you're talking about that, Dennis has something he showed me that I think is so cool. And I said, when you've got that ready to go, you need to reach out to George. And when the time's right, he'll do that, hopefully, Dennis. And he said, yeah, I'll reach out to George and talk to him about it. But he has what I thought, I watched him put it to use. And I thought, man, is that a really neat, cool thing. And him and I kind of talked about some different aspects of what he's got going on. But I don't want to go into detail on air and stuff.
Not a problem.
But we'll talk. I'll hook you two up sometime. I think he's got something really cool.
You know, it's a prime example of the different things. When Garrett has their pinpointer. I remember when the first one came out, I had one. I actually called the company just to tell them I thought they did a phenomenal job with that. And the first one was it was black. And then they come out with the orange one. I see the Chinese, I know they got to have patents on that. Chinese copying that thing left and right.
Yeah.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. You know, there's nothing sacred. I mean, no scruples or morals. These people just copy anything they feel like. That's why we just try to do our own little gig. Like me and Pam, like any tool that comes out of here, it's like a collaboration. Pam personally inspects each tool. If there's an issue, if there's a rattler, we call it. When we call it a rattler, that means there's a little bit of a welding spark that got into the handle. If you shake the handle, you can hear it.
It rattles like a baby rattle.
She'll make me cut that thing open again and get it out.
I have one of your rattlers on purpose. I
For
said,
real?
no, I'll take it. No. You guys, if you remember right, the last show we did, you said you were telling that. And I said, oh, I'd love one that's a rattler. And you said, well, I have one in the shop that Pam's making me cut apart. And I said, no, don't cut it apart. You said you were going to send it to me. I've got that.
She actually makes me take every one of them out. Everything is
I don't make him do that. He does it because it's the right thing to do.
Pam, I don't know. Pam, after hearing you jump on him tonight about doing the show, which I appreciate. I so appreciate.
It's a pleasure. We enjoy talking with you.
I enjoy. You know, you guys used to call me. It's been a while. Every now and then on a Friday.
I know,
night
and I've been thinking about you too. That's funny that you called.
It's okay. I've been so busy. The same thing. I told you I was. I went to Ohio for a couple months, and I've been home since January. We come home like December, the very last day of December, and
okay.
I'd been telling myself I gotta call the Lesches. I miss them. And here we are at the end of March, and I haven't talked to you guys. And I do. I miss you. I miss our conversation. I know you guys are busy, though. I know. And George is, you got to work George hard and stuff. But
yeah, I just got done making up like 500 necks. That's the part where it connects to the handle to the blade.
Yeah.
A lot of people think we're like McDonald's. Can we get it custom made this way?
It's just it's a lot of processes in one tool. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's very time consuming.
It's actually done like a number of them at a time, and it's all done one way because that's the way all the dies and fixtures are set up. You know, like, so basically saying when you're going to put one of them together, it has to go down into a fixture where you can tack it up, then you check everything, make sure everything's perfect, then you finish everything out. Quality is everything, because not only are we using the best materials, if it's not 100%, it's not leaving here. Not unless it's a gift for somebody, and I tell them that, hey, there was an issue. But other than that, it doesn't leave here. Usually I cut them up so nothing else, or I can always cut the handles off and use them for other stuff and scrap the blade. It doesn't matter. But I won't have anything unless it's 100% out there.
Real quick, I want to say, everybody, I muted myself to blow my nose. I'm kind of, we've been fighting. If you guys heard that, I must not have hit the button all the way. I looked down right after I blew my nose and it wasn't muted. I apologize. we've been dealing with sinus issues here in Ohio or Texas and stuff. But, something I wanted to say, guys, is, there's a lot of companies in the metal detecting industry that I support, and I love what they're about, but nobody like you guys. I love what you guys are about, and I don't want to sound, but you guys are almost like family. I know we haven't met, but our Friday night calls, we had some of those, and Pam would call me up after you guys got off, when you guys were done for the day, and ask about my son and stuff. And but not only that, but how you guys, your process, and how proud you are, and rightfully so, about how you build your stuff. And I just, man, I have, in a world where everything's coming out of other countries and stuff isn't made to last like it used to be.
Yep.
I'm so proud as an American, I guess, to know what you guys are doing. And I just love that. And not only that, but the customer service and everything else. And people know that I talk about you guys, and I'll get, every now and then somebody will reach out to me, oh, you were right, Pam's a sweetheart. I called about this, and she spent time with me to help me decide which shovel I wanted. And man, you guys just go the extra mile and beyond, and building these tools that you stand behind 100% and believe in. And you guys are really special people to me, and I love what you guys are about. And yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. But I talk to people from all over the country, sometimes Europe, but I love that. I love talking to people from different states. And sometimes we'll even just talk about the weather, you know what I mean? Or what's going on in the world. And I think that's a good thing. I don't mind texting or emailing, but it's kind of impersonal. So when somebody takes the time to call me, I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoy speaking.
You can believe her on that one. I'm sure.
I enjoy speaking to people.
Yeah. We've had some, Pam and I, you and I have had some just great conversations, and not just about the tools, but about, you always ask about Randy and stuff, and it's nice
Kids
to catch up with
dogs.
you guys. Yeah, I'm about ready to pack him up and send him to you.
Okay.
But something you were talking about
I have grandkids.
Some of these Chinese ones. Me and Pam went to one show, and a guy had a knockoff copy of one of our tools, and he goes, George, you want to see it? I said, yeah, I would. And he brings it over to me, hands it to me, and I got cut right off the get-go. What do you call, when you use a MIG, they're welded together with what you call a MIG gun. From time to time, you got to clean that inside of the nozzle because it'll start clogging up after a while if you don't clean it. And what happened was whoever put that shovel together, it didn't clean out, but the whole wad of stuff that was inside that nozzle from them letting it get all crusted up had fused itself right to the handle. And when I picked it up, thing sliced my finger. I couldn't believe it. Brand new shovel. It was a knockoff copy of one of ours. And I got cut on the first one I'm looking at. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And I hate when I see people pushing these cheap knockoff junk. It just so infuriates me. I wish I could tell you a story, but just recently.
No, it's okay. Believe me.
How can I say it? Somebody had a knockoff shovel similar to what you guys had, and it was bent, and Yeah, the guy on the other end of the line who hasn't been talking a bit kind of mentioned it. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to stop right there, Dennis.
We'll leave it at that one.
We have a question, George. From
yes.
One of the folks here. Have y'all tried any coatings on the blades to prevent corrosion, and also to help with dirt release?
It doesn't matter. Well, the dirt release, I know I'm using the best steel for that as it is. For dirt not to stick to it. But even like with the military, we tried different things, trying to keep, well, for one, you want it non-reflective. But regardless of what you do, if it wears steel, it's going to wear paint off. We use paint, anodized. There was different processes that we tried, and there's nothing going to hold up if you keep digging with it. Matter of fact, Dave Weiss's shovel, prime example, the one when it came back and we repaired it, sent it right back, that thing was like chrome. Mm-hmm. I mean,
it was shiny.
It looked like a mirror. It was used so much that there was absolutely zero left. But there was no rust on there whatsoever. The one thing I could recommend to people, if anything, if you're done with it, you're not going to use it, put it in a building inside or something, and from time to time, put some WD-40 on there. That's all you got to really do. Like if you're worried about sharpening it, use what they call a flapper wheel on a small grinder. If you don't have a small grinder, you would use a file. But if you do have a small hand grinder, a 4.5 inch, you want to use a 60 grit. And when you use the 60 grit flapper wheel on there, make sure you wear safety glasses and gloves, and make sure you have a guard on your blade. But what you want to do, lightly, very lightly over the end of the blade, because that's how I sharpen those. The tools themselves are actually sent out to be machine sharpened. They're all sharpened before I even start. Then I finish it by hand. So any tool you get, I done finish that by hand, and that's how you get that shiny finish on there. But it wasn't done for that purpose. The purpose is to make sure that you have something that's going to penetrate the ground. And we try to bring it right to the extreme of making sure that you get great ground penetration with them, and something that's going to hold up.
That's a great tip for me, because I've been using file and grinder, and I think I've got some 60 grit flapper wheel out there. I believe I'm fixing to change over and start doing it that way.
One other thing, very, very important. Never grind it to the point where the blade turns blue, because you'll cook the carbon out of it. All right, let me point out one other thing with these. Every single blade that we produce is done one at a time. When you start putting in multiple blades in there, like some of these other companies, and mass produce them, and they stick a whole bunch of them into the oven at one time, and then they're pulling them out. But what happens is, the ones that, by the time the first one comes out, yeah, that's fine and stuff. But when you get to the end, you're already cooking the carbon out of it, and you'll see it in the steel where it actually looks like it has a case of Acme or something. You'll see the finish. You can actually see where it's cooking the molecules right out of the steel, and it's not as strong as that first one that came out. That's why we make a point of doing them one at a time to get maximum strength out of each of our tools. That's why they hold up the way they do. Little trade secret. I probably shouldn't have said nothing, but that's what it is.
That's an amazing aspect of that tool to me. I happen to have been being tutored, as it were, by a blacksmith, and I've learned very quickly you can overcook metals of different kinds. And
yes. Matter of fact,
that event. Mm-hmm.
Dennis, that was one of the first things my father taught me, blacksmith work. I only seen that man cry 2 times in his life, when we took down the forge and when my mother died. But what do you call? He loved his blacksmith work, and I'll tell you what. To this day, I still couldn't do some of the stuff that man did. He used to make flowers and all kinds of. He'd grab a bar of steel and actually make flowers out of it. His anvil is one thing I always wanted to get, but somehow it's always eluded me. I see it from time to time, but I don't own it. But I thought it would be a cool piece to have.
Indeed, the tools. Go ahead,
as a memento to my father, because he even like one of the tools, Model 25. That one was after my father. That one's like dedicated to my father. Model 25. That was the year he was born. Each one, like the model numbers, all have meaning. And what do you call? It's easier for me and the wife to associate because we know when we hear, all right, like the Model 35 Piranha. That's after Pam's mom. The Raven, that was after my father. And the Model 24 was after my mom, and so on. Model 75, that was when me and Pam got together. Model 85 was after my son, and because he was born in 1985.
Wow, I didn't know all this.
I'm sorry. Because we got so many different tools, it's easier for us. Like I had one guy, one of the first people I worked with in 322 plumbers and pipe fitters. I was there as a welder, and he kept asking me to name a tool, a 351D. I couldn't figure it. There was another local named 351, but he kept asking for that one. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. And so I named one 351D. Wow. It was actually a 351, but we had to put the D on it.
Because it's a D handle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he had some kind of obsession with this number.
Huh.
But we ended up naming it. Yeah.
That's so neat, George. So neat. I love what you guys are about.
It keeps us going. It actually helps a lot of people. I got one gentleman that works for us. When I was a teacher, I used to teach advanced welding. He still, to this day, works for us, helping us build tools and stuff. And that was like 20 years ago. Wait a minute, maybe more than that. 25 years ago. And he's still with us. He actually worked with me on a couple other inventions and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Like I'll think the stuff up, and what he does, he's a master machinist, and he will make beautiful prototypes. And once you got the beautiful prototype, that's when you have it blueprinted. And what do you call it? He's worked in conjunction with me on several things.
Very cool. That is so cool. You know something that I tell people all the time. Oh, excuse me, my sinuses are a mess. That I've had so like when I was a dealer, I would get your Model 85 and I would end up giving it away and buying another one. And I always thought that was the best hand digger, hands down. But I was wrong. Your Model 75 is a little bit longer handle. I love that. I like the grip on it better and everything, but that Model 75 is even better than the 85. Don't get me wrong. You can't go wrong with the 85.
You got the longer handle on it. It's more expensive. But what do you call it? The end of that is actually precision machined, and it has a nut on there that's hard surfaced. It's aluminum nut that's actually been sent off to be hard surfaced. Then we put a compass on there, and what do you call it? And I have to do what you call TIG weld that. You actually have to. You don't. It's so precision when that goes in, you don't even add welding wire to it. It's just a fusion weld going around there to get that end on there. And you got to We only use nothing but the best possible ones we can. I'll sort through a whole pile of blades just to pick the finest one I can find in there that's already been done to weld that on. When we make that, it's extra special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We put extra time into them, believe me.
No, I believe it. I've had many of your Model 85s because, like I said, I'd often give them away and order a new one. But that 75 is with that handle and that grip. And, something that's always amazed me is it unscrews. The top unscrews. I've had that.
I used to put Civil War cuff buttons in there and stuff. When I went digging in Virginia and stuff, I used to take some of my small artifacts and stick them right in the handle so I didn't lose them. I did lose my tool one time down there. The first original one is handmade. The first 100 of those were all handmade. And from time, I've seen some, I think 23 years ago is when I came out with that tool. And the first ones were handmade. And I was one of the last times I was down to Virginia, a guy opened up his trunk, and he had one in there when I was Lesche Tools that was over 20-some years old, and it was still going strong.
Wow.
And he says that's his favorite piece.
That's so cool. Yeah. My Model 75, what I was going to say, even after all this time, when I screw my cap off, that thing is like silk. I mean, the threads are just perfect. And that's really amazing.
Well, that's because they're hard surfacing. And even after we go through it, before they go out of here, we'll run a tap down it one more time to make sure that everything's smooth. And put one drop of oil is all it takes. Just slide that on, you'll never have a problem with it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Dennis, next time I see you, I'll have to pull out my Model 75 and show you that thing. Man, that thing is slick. Do you have a Model 85, Dennis?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I've used for years.
Yeah. The
Good
70.
Man.
Good man.
That 75 it's the same blade, correct, George?
Yes. That was one of the ones that actually put us on the map, was that tool.
Mm-hmm. That thing is
matter of fact, the first man who ordered was Jimmy Sierra out in California. He ordered 100 of them. And
wow.
it just kept snowballing off of that. Other dealers, this was when I was Lesche Tools, and we just kept on going and going with it. And then the last 350 that I made before I stopped building for Lesche Tools and started Predator Tools, they went to the World Trade Center when the World Trade Center went down for the recovery effort. One of our guys actually drove them up there and brought them up there to them to help them dig. They called and asked for them, and we gave them everything we had on hand.
Wow, that's so neat. I
just George, I'm a retired firefighter, and that always strikes my heart deep down. And thank you for doing that. There's from the fire service, we use a lot of heavy duty tools, and I was with the fire service for 30 years. And I'm retired in 2002, but thank you for doing that. That means a lot to me personally.
Not a problem. Even like when we first started, when the Iraq War first started, a gentleman sent us a letter telling us how bad things were, and I showed the letter to one of my bosses at the time. And I was shocked. All these people wanting to help do something about it. We ended up sending 385 tools, including folding shovels and stuff, to the troops over in Iraq for EOD and stuff. And to this day, they still buy our tools but what do you call the movement, the people, everybody pitching in to get all this stuff together, people actually paying to ship the stuff over. You know, I told them I'll take care of it. And they said, no, I'll take care of it. It was moving. It was a moving experience. And, but you'd be surprised where these tools have all been, you know, different places. We actually ship these all around the world. We had one, I don't know, a guy had a slight issue with one we sent to Russia. We ended up had to send him a whole new shovel because I wanted the guy to be happy. I didn't care what country you are from, you know, that you're from, but we wanted to make sure that our customers are taken care of, and we ended up sending him a whole new shovel.
That's so cool.
Quality is everything.
Absolutely, and the fact that you guys, that's so important to you is, you know, I've been, and it's true, I'll admit, I've been accused of, jokingly, I've had people say I'm a Tesoro fanboy, and I love Tesoros. I mean, I just, you know.
Nothing wrong with them.
Over the winter, I went back to Ohio with, let me see, I think I had a total of 6 detectors with me. I was in Ohio for almost 3 months, and I was field hunting where it was just relics and stuff, and I still, my Tesoro, my cheap little Mojave just works through that iron, and I love the Tesoro, but I think if I could be accused of being a fanboy of anything, it's you guys, and I don't mind that title.
Pam's got one for you. You got to hear this one. We took the grandson out. She's using the XP. I'm using the Mind Lab 800, and the grandson's using the Shadow. And I'm going to let Pam finish off on this one. Go, Tom. About Jackson, what he was doing.
Oh yeah, this boy. We bought him a metal detector. First of all, for his birthday. We gave him one that we had, rather. And then we gave him like a little pouch to keep his tools in. And we just didn't up and do it. He kind of said to me he was interested in it. And I was like, wow, okay. So we gave him the metal detector, and we tried to take him out on the weekends whenever we could, when weather permitting. And he knows this machine like the back of his hand already. Like he's been practicing in the backyard. His dad took him out, you know. And he'll come over and he'll check my hole for me. And he'll say, Mom, that is not a coin. Definitely not a coin, right? And then he'll have another hole, and he'll say, Mom, that's definitely a coin. Dig it. And he was right every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was made by Tesoro, that machine.
Yeah, and the machine he uses was made by Tesoro.
What Shadow was it?
And it's a good machine.
Yeah, a Shadow.
Yeah, I don't.
The original one.
The original one.
Oh, no kidding.
And it works like a charm.
We got a listener asking, did you guys make, let me look, they must have talked to you or something. I've never heard of it, the breach kits?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea what that is.
I'm not even sure what it is myself.
I'd almost bet they're probably talking about...
For breaking down doors and gates.
They're probably talking about a Halligan bar. Oh, there's just... Yeah. Might be a Halligan.
I know what you're talking about for, like, rescue stuff.
Yeah.
That, no. But, you know what would have been... What was a cool thing we used to have, we don't produce anymore, was our folding shovel. Every time we go to shows, people always ask about the folding shovel. Yeah. But, very, very time-consuming building one of them.
And expensive. The parts are very expensive.
Because I got to order the parts, and I have no way in building those parts myself. But you could literally go through a block wall with one of them. And what we did we sent a bunch over to Iraq, and the guy was telling me that they were actually fighting over who was getting them. But it ended up being the guys who went out to the very front that had to dig in because sometimes the ground was super hard. They said the little shovels they were using weren't getting it. And the ones we have, he said they were even chopping trees down with them. I didn't even know they had trees in Iraq, but they do because I've seen the pictures. He said that was the only thing they could get that would penetrate the ground, was using our folding shovels.
Wow.
I only have one left. I actually have one last model that we sent over there in stock in case I ever decided I wanted to, fire it up again and do them. But right now, I carry it in my truck in the winter in case I ever get stuck. I can dig myself out, or I can cut branches off with it and stick them under the tires so I can get out.
Wow, that's so cool. Have you ever thought about doing limited runs? You're so busy, though, aren't you? You don't have the time, do you?
I don't even have time. You go metal detecting. I love metal detecting.
Right, I get that. Because I do hear, you guys are, you're legendary for so many different things, but your fold-up shovel, boy, do people still talk about that. I've heard people talk about it a lot and wish you guys would do that again. I get where you're coming from. I was just wondering if there was ever a chance, but you're so busy. I get it. I think one of the things, if you're listening to this, to take away, this is a small family business. This isn't a corporation.
We're not a major corporation.
Yeah, no, this is a small family.
We're super tiny.
Right. And George, you're still working full time the last time I talked to you.
Yes.
Yeah, and George pretty much comes home, goes out in the shop and works. You're still heat treating them one at a time, doing all this. I can't imagine how busy you are.
Mike, you wouldn't believe how many companies wanted us to build tools for them. Major names that want us to, turn out tools for them. Can't do it, don't want to do it. I just like doing the little gig that we're doing. It helps the family out, family and friends. I should have named it, instead of Predator Tools, it should have been Family and Friends. Because that's what it is.
Yeah, basically, it's the same people that we've had for years and years, and they're close friends. Right. So it helps other people, too.
Mm-hmm.
The people that actually help with the tools, I'd have no problem. Come on in, have something to eat, or Pam's always bringing us food out, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, if you work here, you eat here.
Oh, I need to come out there. What do you make? That's the way to my heart, Pam. I'm a hard worker, George. I'm a hard worker for good food.
I'm always cooking something, and I try to make something different every day.
Oh, see, you know what? I'm not speaking for Dennis, but I'm just saying he's kind of a thick guy like me. You might have a couple new workers coming to help out then. I don't know.
There you go.
I'm in.
Yeah, Dennis.
He did.
I bet she
everybody
cooks
works
real good.
here. Yeah, yes, plenty of Coca-Cola, water, coffee, lots of coffee.
Mm.
If you're here for breakfast, you get breakfast. If you're here for lunch, then you get lunch too.
Oh man. Oh, you got a place for me to set up a tent and me and Randy come visit?
There you go.
I'm down.
Be up in the loft.
I had an Italian grandmother, Italian mother, so that's how it is. When you come over, you eat.
Yeah.
You can work, but you have to eat too.
Oh, Dennis, are you ready for a road trip or what, man?
I am,
I'm
brother.
convinced.
You bet.
Dennis is like, I guarantee he's a hard
You guys
worker.
are always welcome here.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow.
I'd love to come visit. It's tough with Randy and everything. It's good. Life is great, but it's you know, I think I was talking to Dennis Dennis earlier. We were on the phone, and I said, you know, up until I was 40 years old, I could pretty much just take off and do whatever I wanted whenever I want. And now I've got Randy and everything else. And don't get me wrong, I love it.
Right.
But it is hard. But, you know, something on my bucket list is to come meet you guys sometime. And I hope someday we have a chance to meet and do some metal detecting.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. Me and Pam got married 3 days out of high school.
Wow. How long have you guys been together?
1975.
Wow.
Matter of fact, my first Spanish real was 1775. And I had it made into, what do you call, a clasp or whatever.
A necklace.
Like a necklace. It didn't damage the coin or anything. It was a real nice quality one. And she never wore it yet. I ain't never seen her wear it.
I'm afraid I'll lose it.
That is too
So I looked at it, but I'm afraid to wear it.
Oh.
Because I sometimes have a tendency to lose things.
You know, I get that. And it's easy to lose jewelry. I get that. Katie wants to know, Katie's in the chat. She wants to know where you guys are at.
We're in South Jersey. Mm-hmm. New Jersey. Southern part.
That's the northeast part of Texas, y'all.
We're a long, long way from
We're
Texas.
a long way from Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
I've never been to Texas, so I have to come see Texas.
Don't do it. Look, I'm a
don't do
Eastern
it.
boy, and the first thing I found, I'll tell you, my feet are all scarred up because big dummy me. I'm going to take the dogs out in sandals and stuff because it's hot, Pam. It's hot here.
Right.
And there's these things that they call fire ants, and they're microscopic, but boy, do they tear you up. And
I heard they have them in Florida too.
Oh yeah, my feet are all scarred up. There's snakes everywhere.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Oh
man, it reminds me one time we're going down off the James River. I got invited to go to a hunt. We went to the hunt, and I noticed everybody's only wearing one headphone. And I go, what's up? You know, what's going on? Why is it one headphone? And what do you call snakes? I said, what? Snakes? And they showed me a picture of one of the snakes that they killed out there. I'm like, oh, my God. And then they're all taping up their pant legs. But I went really crazy and taped up mine so nothing's going to get through. And then, what do you call it? We go through, it was like a ravine. They told me to stay out of the high grass. And wherever the logs are,